Good evening and welcome to the regular City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, and it's 7 p.m. Regular meetings are generally held on the first and third Tuesday of each month in City Council chambers here at City Hall. City Clerk Assistant, please call the roll.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Councilmember Winstead.
Present.
Councilmember Otto.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johns.
Here.
Mayor Genoway.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Pastor Jim Seisler of Laguna Niguel Presbyterian Church to provide this evening's invocation, and he will be followed by Scout Pack 705 to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Please join with me in prayer. Gracious God, we gather tonight in gratitude for this city we call home, for the beauty of the hills and ocean that surround us, and for the people who make Laguna Niguel a place of kindness, creativity, and care. We pause to give you thanks for all of our first responders and for those who are involved in our city's governance. We thank you for their wisdom, for their diligence, perseverance, and service. Lord, we ask that you would grant wisdom and clarity to our council members as they deliberate tonight. May their decisions serve the common good, honor the dignity of every resident, and promote justice, peace, and stewardship for our shared community. Help us to listen with patience, to speak with respect, and to act with integrity. Lord, may this meeting reflect our highest values: unity and diversity, compassion in action, and a commitment to the flourishing of all. We ask for guidance, courage, and grace in all that we do here tonight. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. And now Scout Troop 705.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Cub Scout Pack 705, Color Guard advance. Please place your right hand over your heart. Those in uniform and veterans, please salute. Please join us in the Pledge Allegiance to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Audience, you may be seated.
Great job, boys. We'll be down there in just a moment to meet you. All right, let's have a... Is this on? Let's have a round of... Check 1, 2. All right, let's have a round of applause for our scouts. You all did a fantastic job leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to give you the microphone, and I want you to tell us your name, the grade you're in, and your favorite part about being a scout.
I'm Dallas Nunez. I'm in 5th grade, and my favorite part about being a scout is that campouts.
All right, here we go.
My name is Brian, and I'm in 2nd grade. And
What's your favorite part about being a scout?
He's new, so he just actually joined recently.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're just learning to be a scout? How about the Halloween party? Did you like that?
yeah, I like that.
My name is Nolan Minter. I'm in 5th grade. I go to Clarence Lobo Elementary, and my favorite part about scouting is the camping trips we get to do.
All right.
My name is Nicholas Minter. I'm in 7th grade, and I like to go on campouts.
My name is Jackson Nunez. I'm in 5th grade. I go to George White Elementary School, and my favorite part about being a scout is making new friends.
Well, those are some really great qualities about being a scout, campouts, making new friends. I know you're going to make a lot of friends in Scouts. It's a great organization to be in, and I'm so glad that all of you could be here today. Let's have our scout leaders introduce themselves as well. And you can tell us your favorite part about being a scout leader.
We'll get emotional if I do that. Steve Minter, Cub Master, PEC 705. I'll be done here as Cub Master in about 3 months. So it's kind of like, oh, I'll get all emotional. It has been really good. And I've watched 2 of these boys are mine learn and do things that I never thought that, we would go doing. I was happy enough to learn how to fold a flag, but it's been a really good program. I wanted to make sure there were certain rites of passages that I would get done as a father with them, and with the camping and the fishing and all those things. Really, it's been wonderful. So there's no one thing I can put a finger on, but thank you for the support, Laguna Niguel, and for all you boys and all the hard work you put in.
Hey everybody, I'm Jessica Minter. I am the den leader for the 5th graders, which is our Arrow of Light Scouts that are going to be bridging to the Boy Scout program in February. And my favorite memory is just the fact that, like Steve had said, Scouts has really pushed our family to do things that we probably wouldn't have done. We probably wouldn't go camping once a month if not for Scouts, or go on hikes and things and see all the great parks and natural resources that your city offers to us. So we're very grateful.
All right. Well, you're starting to get me teared up. So thanks for everything you do. And let's get a picture with everybody. Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. And who's going to dismiss us?
Okay. Color guard dismissed.
All right. And that concludes our presentations. So we can go back to our seats and begin the business of the meeting. We will now move on to public comment. Any person wishing to address the City Council is respectfully asked to complete and present a gold-colored request to speak form. These forms are available on the counter that is located near the entry door of the council chambers. Please be aware that the time limit will be 3 minutes for each person to speak. There is a time for members of the public. This is a time for members of the public to share comments with the City Council. The Brown Act does not allow the City Council to respond to speakers at the meeting. However, city staff will follow up and respond to questions or provide information as needed. Speakers will be called in order from the request to speak forms. To allow equal time for speakers, minutes may not be given to another speaker. You may have another speaker read your written statement. City Clerk Assistant, you handed me, which looks to be about 5 gold slips. And so I will call those one at a time. The first 3 are Tisha Holbert, Nancy Williams, and Patty Williams.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Tisha Holbert, and I am speaking on behalf of the Paseo Street Safety Coalition, representing more than 80 homeowners who live along the Paseo del Niguel easement and along those Paseo streets. Let me start off by saying this is about the turf project at El Niguel Country Club. Our streets are not against the project. What we're against is the illegal use of an easement that's been in use for years, which is breaking the law. We were told at the last Planning Commission meeting that the city and OCFA to wait for the application to be submitted because that's when everything would be properly reviewed. We trusted that process, but when the application finally reached the Planning Commission, nothing was properly reviewed. The Fire Safety Report SR 277407, the one that would determine whether this easement would even meet basic fire code, was never released. It's been withheld for more than a year, first under the excuse of intellectual property and later due to a system glitch, which are both documented in email. Both explanations violate California Public Records Act, Government Code 6253, which requires public release with redaction, not concealment. Despite the missing evidence, Planning Manager Katie Crockett told the Commission that OCFA had approved the plans, that CEQA concerns were vetted, and there were no issues with safety or environmental compliance. Those statements were false. The city's own planning staff report, page 9, proves otherwise. It states that maintenance facility workers will continue to access the site via Paseo del Niguel and the existing access easement, and that construction will involve demolition and grading machinery, concrete trucks, dump trucks, and delivery vehicles. The traffic assessment, which is on attachment D, even admits that some construction traffic will utilize the existing access easement off Paseo del Niguel. So that proves that statement was incorrect. That is construction traffic through a private enclosed residential easement, which is 9 feet 8 inches. The state of California law is 20 feet. Laguna Niguel adopted in 2023 for those access points to be 24 feet. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a failure of duty. Under California Fire Code 503.2.1 and 503.2.5 and 102.1, this access road does not meet the minimum fire width requirement. Both the city and OCFA have the jurisdiction and the legal authority to shut this down immediately under those codes. They did not. Not one violation has been issued. Not one correction order, nothing. We have been told this is a grandfathered situation. When it comes to law, there's no.
Thank you, Ms. Holbert. Nancy Williams.
Evening, Mayor and Councilman. My name is Nancy Williams, and I've lived in this neighborhood for more than 40 years. My home sits right beside the narrow private easement that runs between my property and my neighbor Linda's. When we moved here, the little lane was peaceful and only for light occasional utility access, not for trucks, vendors, or daily employee traffic. But over the years, it's been turned into a full-time service road for the El Niguel Country Club's commercial vendors and employees. Today, fuel and delivery trucks, waste haulers, tree service vehicles, and more than 20 employee cars drive through the space every week, sometimes as early as 5 in the morning. The passage is only 9 feet 8 inches wide, enclosed by walls just a few feet from our homes. When those trucks pass, the walls shake. It's loud, constant, and dangerous. What makes it worse is that we live in a high fire hazard severity zone under Fire Code 503.2.1. Any fire access or commercial vehicle route must have a minimum 20 feet unobstructed width. And under Laguna Niguel Ordinance 2023-219, that minimum is 24 feet. Our easement measures just 9 feet 8 inches at its narrowest point. It's physically enclosed, it cannot be widened, and it cannot serve as a legal fire access. Yet the same illegal easement is being used daily by gasoline tankers, delivery trucks, and employee vehicles. The country club claims that its fuel trucks only enters about 10 times a year, but that is not accurate. Linda and I live directly beside this lane, and we see the fuel trucks coming at least every month, often more frequently during busy golf season. Even one of those trips is too many when that tanker is passing within feet of our home. Our spark, one accident, and we could lose everything. I do not feel heard. The laws have been given, the fire codes have been shown, and still the Planning Commission approved this project. Why? Nothing was released, nothing was corrected, and the process was skipped. Allowances were made at the expense of my safety, Linda's safety, and the safety of our entire Paseo Streets community. This must stop today. Please stop allowing commercial vendors and employee traffic. And now, as your own staff report admits construction vehicles and dump trucks to use this private residential easement. Enforce the same fire and safety codes that every other homeowner in Laguna Niguel must follow. We're not asking for anything special. We're asking to be safe before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. The next speakers are Patty Williams, followed by Linda Sukat and Alyssa Cope. And I apologize if I mispronounced the names. I'm just reading the handwriting phonetically.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Patty Williams, and I live in the Paseo Streets neighborhood. At the October 14th Planning Commission meeting, Planning Manager Katie Crockett stated on the record that there were no issues with CEQA and the issued exemptions were fully vetted. Those words sounded reassuring, but the city's own report tells a very different story. On page 9 of the Planning Commission staff report dated October 14, 2025, it states, quote, during construction, maintenance facility workers will continue to access the site via Paseo del Niguel and the existing access easement. Construction access, however, will be provided from Clubhouse Drive with staging areas located on the driving range. Equipment will vary by phase, but will include demolition and grading machinery, concrete trucks, dump trucks, and delivery vehicles for building materials. The traffic assessment attachment D goes even further. Some construction traffic will utilize the existing access easement off of Paseo del Niguel during demolition. A maximum of 36 truck haul trips will occur for a 2-week period. Those are not my words, those are the city's words. Construction vehicles, including dump trucks, will use the Paseo de Niguel easement. That's not routine employee traffic. That's construction traffic through a private sub-10-foot residential easement located in a high fire hazard severity zone. Despite that, the staff report on page 11 claims the project qualifies for a categorical exemption from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. None of the exemptions to the use of a categorical exemption apply. The project is not located in a particularly sensitive area, end quote. That statement is false and legally indefensible. The site is within a high fire hazard severity zone, and it depends on a non-fire code compliant easement for construction vehicle access. That alone disqualifies it from the CEQA exemption. This also violates California Fire Code 503.2.1 and 503.2.5, which require a minimum 20-foot unobstructed width for fire and commercial access, increased to 24 feet under Laguna Niguel Ordinance 2023-219. The easement fails those standards at every point. A CEQA exemption for a high fire hazard severity zone project using a non-compliant easement for construction access is not just improper, it's unlawful. Under CEQA 15300.2b and 15091a. We respectfully ask this council to re-examine the project's CEQA exemption, to require the immediate release of SR 277407 and related fire authority reports, and 3, suspend any construction access through the Paseo del Niguel easement until compliance with CFC 503.2.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. I appreciate your comments. Next is Linda Sukat, followed by Alyssa Cope.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Linda Sukat, and I am one of the 2 homeowners and own the property and pay the taxes on the private easement being used for commercial access by El Niguel Country Club 363 days a year. Daily commercial use continues on this private residential easement, including employee vehicles, gas tankers, everything that was mentioned before. Under California Vehicle Code 260, all vehicles operated in the course of employment or business are commercial use. Because this corridor is fully enclosed and only 9 feet 8 inches, At its narrow point, it cannot meet the minimum 20-foot that was discussed earlier. It was adopted by the 2023-219 CFF 503.2.5. Further requires unobstructed width along the entire length of the route. The narrowest point controls compliance. My home address is 30772 Paseo del Niguel. In July of 2024, following installation of a new address sign on the easement on their gate, my property appeared on the state fire map and in city systems as located inside the golf course maintenance yard at 30762 Paseo del Niguel. That error directly affected my very high fire hazard severity zone classification. The city and OCFA were not notified on July 2nd, 2024. The error remained uncorrected for more than a year. During that period, my property was inaccurately shown as within the turf care yard rather than a private residence. The city's community development director, Jonathan Orduna, stated in writing that the address sign was posted at OCFA's request. However, OCFA Deputy Fire Marshal Eric Evans later confirmed he had no knowledge of how or why the sign was placed. The U.S. Postal Service has never recognized the 30762 address as an official address assignment for the golf course property. Under CFC 104.11 and Government Code 815.6, once a public agency becomes aware of a condition that endangers life or property, it must ensure correction. CFC 102.1 makes the fire code applicable to existing as well as new conditions, and there are no grandfather exemptions for non-compliant fire access routes. These standards have not been met. The easement remains below fire access width and is an ongoing commercial use. I respectfully request that the City Council direct staff and OCFA to enforce compliance with CFC 503.2.1, 503.2.5, 102.1, and 104.11, suspend commercial use of the easement pending correction and verify that all addressing within the corridor conforms to section 505.1 of the Fire Code for the premise identification. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sukit. Appreciate you coming to City Hall and speaking. Our final speaker is Alyssa Cope.
Thank you. Hello, Mayor, Council, and City staff. I wanted to talk on a different topic. It's item 8, which is the fire defensible space plan up for adoption today. And I wanted to start by commending the City Council for being forward-looking.
Sorry to interrupt. The request is that you speak to that item when we get to it. We're taking comments on all of it, not pulling it. Okay, I beg your pardon. I thought you were going to pull it. All right.
Okay.
Do you want me to start again?
No, we're good.
Or
I saw the clock was stopped, Madam Clerk,
Oh,
correct,
okay.
at 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Okay.
And so you can proceed with your 2.5 minutes.
All right, thank you. Okay, just to be clear, I'm speaking on item 8, which is the vegetation management plan contract award to DUDEC. That's what I'm speaking about. So I wanted to start by thanking the City Council for being forward-looking and addressing the fire fuel load in the high fire severity zones for the properties that they own. I think that's a really great effort. And I also appreciate city staff's efforts dedicated to quality, transparency, and the integrity of service. I know that you all work very hard. I have a few concerns about the DUDEC award. Maybe the most surprising item is that I don't know if everyone is aware in this room, but DUDEC is providing the data for the NG Compass Energy project, which is currently they're submitting, they call it data or factual information to the Energy Commission for the BESS facility in San Juan Capistrano. And I know that the council has worked tirelessly to try to turn that ship. And so I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that that is the consulting firm, and there have been significant errors in their submittals, which I think everybody is aware of here. So they've submitted a proposal to do this vegetation management plan, but there's also significant emissions omissions that I wanted to make you guys aware of. The city is very landslidey. It's got geotechnical issues. Their proposal completely omits any kind of evaluation or any kind of experts to address that. Also, they have nobody proposed in this submittal for sensitive species, and this area is unique as far as the plants that are here. There's some endemic plants that exist nowhere else in the world, and to have a fire plan work in an area that contains those, I think you're leaving yourselves open to possibly a lawsuit, not from me, but
Thank you, Ms. Cope. I appreciate your comments. I believe the whole council received the email you sent this afternoon, and we also have a copy of the 6-page letter that you attached. So I appreciate your comments. Madam Clerk, are there any more requests to speak?
No, Mayor.
Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We will move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items to be pulled from the consent calendar from members of the council?
Yeah, I'll pull number 7, please.
All right, Councilmember Otto pulls number 7. Are there any other items to be pulled from the consent calendar? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the balance of the consent calendar? Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Johns, seconded by Councilmember Winstead. Members, please vote. The balance of the consent calendar is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. We will now move on to item number 7. Councilmember Otto.
Thank you so much. This is the second reading and adoption of Ordinance 2025-236, prohibiting the sale and distribution of kratom and nitrous oxide products. And I just want to point out to the public that I've confirmed with staff they'll be doing a small or a public information campaign on this so that people understand what we did here and what the rules are going to be going forward in Laguna Niguel regarding this topic. And with that, I'm happy to move the item.
Thank you very much. Moved by Councilmember Otto, seconded by Councilmember Jennings. Members, please vote. The item is carried unanimously, 5-0. Thank you. That concludes our consent calendar for this evening. I just want to confirm, Madam Clerk, were there any ordinances I needed to read into the record?
There are none.
Thank you. Wanted to make sure of that after last meeting. All right, our discussion item this evening is to approve the community preferred alternative for the La Paz Road Mobility Enhancements and Permanent Repair Project. Public Works Director Scott, please take it away.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, we're here to discuss the La Paz Road Mobility Enhancements and Permanent Repair Project. This slide shows a map of the project limits, which extend from Aliso Creek Road south to Crown Valley Parkway. As we've previously updated the City Council in the past, there is an active landslide area near the regional park, south of Rancho Niguel Road, shown in orange. The La Paz Road Mobility Enhancements and Permanent Repair Project aims to mitigate the landslide and reopen and restore the roadway to full use. First, I'd like to review some of the history of La Paz Road, the active landslide that has caused severe damage to the roadway, and some of the steps the city has taken up to where we are today. La Paz Road was originally constructed in the 1960s as a 2-lane roadway. The city of Laguna Niguel widened the roadway to 4 lanes with a center median in 1994, 5 years after the city's incorporation. In 2001 and 2008, the city installed concrete pillars, also known as caissons, under the roadway as a result of soil movement that started after the widening project. In 2021, sudden and more severe movement and asphalt cracking occurred, prompting the city to close the southbound number 2 lane, the lane closest to the Laguna Niguel Regional Park. In 2023, the city declared a state of emergency as the roadway damage significantly progressed and began to encroach into the number 1 southbound lane, at which time the city closed both southbound lanes and was forced to detour southbound traffic. The inconvenience to motorists was very unpopular, but necessary for their safety. The detour routed vehicles to Moulton Parkway, resulting in an approximate 3 to 5 minute delay. From the first day of the detour, the city received continuous complaints. Throughout 2021 to 2023, the city initiated a geotechnical investigation and installed inclinometers to measure the earth movement as it continued to progress. In December 2023, the city received a $15.5 million grant in federal and state funding. In August of 2024, the city completed an interim condition project to restore two-way traffic with one lane in each direction and separated bike lanes. That condition is what you see today when driving along La Paz Road. In November 2024, the city initiated the Project Alternatives, an environmental documentation phase called PAED phase, to explore options for how the road may be restored into the future. Mark Thomas and Company was retained by the city as the engineering consultant firm to complete the PAED phase required as part of the federal and state grant and continue to fund the future phases of the project through final design, right-of-way, and construction. As part of the scope of work for Mark Thomas, it is required that considerations in the project be made for climate resiliency, active transportation, safety enhancements, and greenhouse gas emission reductions. Joining us this evening is Pat Somerville, project manager for Mark Thomas and Company. At this time, I will turn over the presentation to Pat to discuss the PAED phase and the options and alternatives that will be selected as the city moves forward to final design.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Pat Somerville, project manager for the Mark Thomas team, assisting the city through this phase of work. One of our first steps was to establish the goals of the project to ensure that the project meets the needs of the city, the community, and is in alignment with the grant funding. These goals included implementing permanent repairs and address the long-term landslide mitigation, enhance active transportation connectivity by providing pedestrian and bicycle improvements, improve vehicular circulation and safety through traffic calming measures, boost environmental sustainability and resilience through the project design consistent with the grant funding requirements. With the project goals established, our team developed a suite of potential concepts to address the challenges within the corridor. These were presented in our community meeting number 1, where we heard from the community about their concerns along La Paz Road, as well as feedback on the concepts. We took this feedback and crafted specific alternatives for further consideration. So let's discuss these alternatives, starting with the long-term landslide mitigation. The good news is that earlier this year, the Water District completed a project near the bottom of the slope that significantly stabilized the hillside. But this is only part of the overall strategy to address the long-term landslide needs. Our project will also incorporate additional strategies that include shifting the roadway to the east away from the park, further away from the landslide to the greatest extent possible. Also, lowering the southbound side of the roadway upwards of 6 feet. We would accomplish this by using a slope in the median, similar to the Niguel Road here in the city. The combination of all these strategies increases the factor of safety for the hillside to an acceptable level. As for the pedestrian and bicyclist mobility, we developed 2 alternatives. Both of these alternatives were met favorably by the community in meeting number 1. They fit within the existing right-of-way. It maintains the existing median outside of the landslide area, provides 1 vehicular lane in both directions. This helps in the landslide area and is supported by the traffic analysis through the length of the project corridor from Liso Creek down to Crown Valley. The street section will be 20 feet wide to meet the fire authority requirements and also provides a 5-foot striped shoulder that would allow bicyclists the option to ride on street. And it implements sustainability in every feasible aspect of the project. Alternative 1 is a Class 1 multi-use trail. This is accomplished through the reconfiguration of the Easterly Parkway that provides a pedestrian path adjacent to the Class 1 two-way multi-use path and a landscape buffer. The westerly side along the park would also have a landscape buffer, a sidewalk, and a decomposed granite walking path. Alternative 2 is a Class 4 separated bike lane facility. This maintains the existing sidewalks on both sides of the roadway installs a 3-foot wide raised median island in order to provide a separated Class 4 bike lane on each side of the road. To improve circulation and safety, our focus was at the intersection of La Paz Road at Yosemite Road and at Rancho Niguel, and we developed 2 alternatives. Alternative 1 would provide a roundabout at both of these intersections. Roundabouts provide a significant benefit as a traffic calming device directly addressing the top concern of the community, which is the vehicular speed along La Paz Road. There's ample room at both of these intersections to fit the roundabouts. It improves access to and from the side streets, and it shortens the pedestrian crossing lengths at each intersection. Alternative 2 would signalize the Rancho Niguel intersection. This intersection met the threshold for the traffic signal warrants. Yosemite Road, however, did not meet the traffic signal warrants. So in this alternative, that intersection configuration would remain similar as it does today.
Thank you, Pat. In order to solicit the maximum amount of public input into the alternatives available for reconstructing La Paz Road, the Public Works Department engaged in a robust public outreach plan. This plan included a dedicated project webpage on the city's website, 5 distinct social media posts coordinated through the city manager's office, and 2 in-person community meetings. In-person community meeting number 1 was held on March 24th at the Sea Country Senior and Community Center. 2 weeks prior to the community meeting, approximately 2,000 postcards were mailed to adjacent neighborhoods, including retail businesses, schools, and HOAs. The engineering team from Mark Thomas provided a room layout with several project boards, presenting information to residents and meeting attendees. The project boards offered options and possible alternatives for on-street and off-street bike lanes, as well as information about a potential traffic signal and optional roundabouts along La Paz Road. The community members were provided with an opportunity to vote for their preferred alternatives and provide comment cards explaining their opinions. At the same time, staff was available to answer any questions from the public. I also attended this meeting and engaged with the residents, listening to their perspectives and opinions regarding their preferred alternatives for reconstructing La Paz Road. It seemed as though most of the community members in attendance were residents in the nearby neighborhoods adjacent to La Paz Road. Community meeting number 2 was held on May 19th, also at the Sea Country Senior and Community Center. Again, nearly 2,000 postcards noticing the meeting were mailed approximately 2 weeks prior to the meeting. At community meeting number 2, refined options and alternatives were displayed for the community members' consideration with the same type of voting and comment cards provided. At meeting number 1 and meeting number 2, the Mark Thomas engineering team was able to whittle down the community interest into 2 alternatives for mobility enhancement, Class 1 or Class 4 bike lanes, and 2 alternatives for intersection control, roundabouts, or a traffic signal. Both of these alternatives were described in detail by Pat earlier in this presentation. In addition to these 2 community meetings, Mark Thomas staff and I attended 4 separate in-person meetings. On June 16th, residents of the Costa Brava HOA were invited to attend and listen to the information about the La Paz Road alternatives and provide their feedback. A similar meeting was held on July 7th for the Lake Park HOA. Approximately 50 residents of Lake Park attended the meeting to learn about the project. A meeting with Mission Lutheran Church directors was held on July 17th, where project information was shared and an opportunity to ask questions was provided. Attendees from Mission Lutheran Church expressed strong support for a roundabout at Yosemite and La Paz Road. The final in-person meeting was held for the Rancho Niguel HOA on July 28th. It should be noted that throughout the community meetings and during the in-person meetings, a strong preference for Class 4 separated on-street bike lanes and roundabouts at La Paz Road Yosemite intersection and La Paz Road Rancho Niguel intersection was preferred. On May 28th at the Traffic and Transportation Commission, staff provided an update on the project progress. And prior to the Traffic and Transportation Commission held on September 24th, nearly 2,000 postcards were mailed, inviting public input for the final time within the PAED phase. The recommendation from the Traffic and Transportation Commission meeting was unanimous to support the community preferred alternative identified through the outreach efforts. Throughout the public outreach period, an online survey was offered to further gather community input regarding the alternatives available for the long-term repair of La Paz Road. The survey was launched June 13th with access through the city's webpage and promotion of the survey through another postcard mailer, lawn signs, and the in-person meetings through June and July. Overall, the city received 436 responses to the online survey. 96% were self-identified Laguna Niguel residents, of which over 84% indicated they drove La Paz Road daily or multiple times per week. The results of the survey indicated a strong preference for Class 4 on-street separated bike lanes, with 66% of respondents indicating this as their preferred alternative. In my one-on-one conversations with residents at the in-person outreach meetings, I was often told there is a strong interest in keeping bikes on the roadway, but with a separation from automobiles for enhanced safety. The survey results reflect this overall sentiment. The results of the survey indicated a strong preference for roundabouts at Yosemite Road and Rancho Niguel Road, with 60% of respondents indicating this as their preferred alternative. In my one-on-one conversations with residents at each of the 4 in-person outreach meetings, I was often told there's a strong interest in traffic calming and reduced speeds along La Paz Road for enhanced safety. Concerns about left turns onto southbound La Paz were frequently raised, with a strong interest in improvements at the Yosemite intersection. Roundabouts are proven to slow traffic as cars yield and navigate through the intersection. The presence of roundabouts induces long-term permanent traffic calming. The community input through feedback and the survey results reflect this overall sentiment. Throughout the city's 6-month effort to solicit community input and feedback, questions about roundabout use and safety were raised. To address these questions, the Public Works traffic team has already assembled a roundabout fact sheet that will be used for outreach and education. A robust public outreach campaign to educate and inform motorists will precede construction of a roundabout, since this would be a new type of traffic control in Laguna Niguel.
Thanks, Jackie. The La Paz Road Mobility Enhancements and Permanent Repair Project will include a design recommendation for the Class 4 on-street separated bike lanes and 2 roundabouts located at the Yosemite Road and Rancho Niguel intersections. Through the city's outreach efforts and resident feedback, these design features are labeled as a community preferred alternative and therefore included in tonight's staff recommendation for approval by City Council. As for the next steps for the project, it'll be the completion of the 35% project plans for that community preferred alternative, and upon City Council approval, staff will release a request for proposals for the final design services to advance the project into the next phase of work.
Thank you, Pat. At this time, staff recommends that the City Council approve the community preferred alternative for the improvements to La Paz Road from Aliso Creek Road to Crown Valley Parkway, consisting of 2 vehicular travel lanes, Class 4 bikeways, pedestrian improvements, landscape improvements, roundabouts at the intersection of La Paz Road and Rancho Niguel Road, and La Paz Road at Yosemite Road, and earth movement repair. Additionally, staff recommends that the City Council direct staff to proceed with final engineering design of plans, specifications, and estimate, PS&E, for the project, and find the project categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, under CEQA guidelines, section 15301, class 1, existing facilities, and section 15304, class 4, minor alterations to land, and that the City Council directs staff to prepare, execute, and file with the county clerk and state clearinghouse a notice of exemption documenting this categorically exempt finding within 5 working days of its approval. That concludes our report. Pat and I are here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for that presentation. Are there any questions from the council? I do have a quick question, just a clarification. I noticed in one of your earlier slides, there was a depiction of the median being sloped. In the community selected mobility option with the class 4 bike lanes, I just want to confirm that the median will not be sloped. It's flat, right? Or it is sloped? That's why I'm asking.
The median would be sloped in the vicinity of the landslide area only. The rest
Okay.
of the reach on La Paz Road would remain similar to as it is today, flat.
Great. Thank you for clarifying that. All right. Are there any more questions?
Just want to make sure to clarify this. I sat through the Stephanie Winstead, Councilmember Winstead, and I sat through the presentation for the Traffic and Transportation. And one of the points I wanted to bring up is that with this roundabout, it's the first time we were doing it in our city. However, it's only one lane in each direction and only 3 entrance points, which makes it much easier to navigate than the multi-lane roundabouts would be. So it'll be easier for people to understand it. Also, I believe you said the numbers were about 90% fatalities have dropped with a roundabout as opposed to just a regular street with a traffic light. And accident injuries were down around 60%. Is that correct?
I don't remember those exact numbers off the top of my head, but City Traffic Engineer Kathy Kelly can speak to roundabout safety and accidents and is here tonight. If she can provide those specific numbers or confirm your numbers, I'd appreciate her input on it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in that spot.
No worries. Good evening, Mayor Genoway and members of the City Council. My name is Kathy Kelly. I'm the Engineering Services Manager and City Traffic Engineer for the City of Laguna Niguel. I am a licensed civil engineer and traffic engineer in the state of California. I've been doing this for 15 years. And you are correct, Mayor Pro Tem Johns. The safety benefits of a roundabout include a reduction in fatal crashes by 90% with roundabouts. And this is from the Federal Highway Administration, which is the nationwide collection of data. So this is not just in California, this is nationwide. And it is a reduction in 60% of injury crashes. It also includes only 8 conflict points in roundabouts because there are no left turns in roundabouts, as opposed to 32 conflict points in traditional intersections. And because everyone is moving in the same direction, the speeds are going to be slower if there is a crash. And so the likelihood of someone getting into an injury or a fatal crash is a lot less. I can answer any other questions if you have questions related to the design as well.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, we will now move on to public comment. Thank you, Mrs. Kelly. Seeing none, we will now move on to public comment. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
There are none.
Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We will now move on to council discussion. Anybody like to begin? Well, here, I'll begin, since nobody's jumping to it. Let me just say first, thank you to our incredible staff. Thank you, Mr. Somerville, for that presentation. I happen to like both of the recommended proposals. On the issue of roundabouts, I'm actually a big fan of roundabouts. Just from personal experience, you see a lot of roundabouts in other cities in the county, primarily the city of Orange, where you have the Orange Circle, or Plaza as it's called there. That's a little more tricky because it's 2 lanes in a roundabout, but you get used to it pretty quick. Driving in the city of Santa Ana on Civic Center Drive going towards the courthouse, there's a whole series of roundabouts, 1 lane in each direction, and it works pretty well. You are required to slow down before you get to the roundabout, and it allows traffic to keep moving. I can't tell you how many times I'm at a stoplight, either in this city or another city, where I'm the only car in the intersection and I'm waiting for the signal to turn, and I just think it's a waste of time. You don't have that problem with a roundabout. You slow down, and you know, as long as there's not another car there, you keep going. So I find that to be a pretty good way to direct traffic, and I'm in support of the roundabout. And I think it'd be a good good opportunity for this city to try a roundabout. I think this will be the first roundabout in the city of Laguna Niguel, and it's a good place to try. You got one lane in each direction on a road that there's not too much traffic. I mean, it does have some traffic, but it's not heavy traffic. And so I think this will be a good thing for our city. And so I'm in favor of the recommended proposals that have been recommended from our community at the rate. It looks like almost 2/3 of the community is in favor of both of the recommendations for the one lane in each direction and for the roundabout. So I'll be voting to support both of those proposals. All right, who's next? Councilmember Otto.
Yeah, I just want to voice my support. I'm glad that we're listening to our residents. You all did a really great job with outreach. It sounds like you really went out of your way to find out what our residents wanted, and that's why I support it, because that's what our residents want. So thanks so much.
Mayor Pro Tem Johns.
I want to thank you, Director Scott, and your staff. I've been involved with this since I was a traffic commissioner many years ago, and this has been a big problem for our city over the years with the landslide, and I believe that this is actually the fix that will take care of that problem indefinitely, hopefully forever. So I know how hard you worked on it. I know how hard your staff worked on it, and I am completely in agreement with this being the right fix for that area, so thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Winstead.
Thank you. So like with Mayor Pro Tem Johns, been following this for quite some time, probably at least 10 years, at least particularly with regards to the intersection of Rancho Niguel and La Paz. That one has been particularly concerning to me because of people who would like to park on Rancho Niguel and walk across La Paz to the community park and or the regional park, and there's not a crosswalk there. And people will still walk across La Paz, and sometimes they're walking their dog, pushing a stroller, talking on the phone, and cars are going at a relatively high rate of speed in that area. So I think that having the roundabout, particularly at the Rancho Niguel La Paz intersection, is a great solution for pedestrian safety. I remember that at our Traffic and Transportation Commission meetings, you had also mentioned that because of the roundabout and the construction of it, that the distance from one side of the street to the other is actually shorter, and there's a potential area, like a pausing zone with the roundabouts. So that helps pedestrian safety in those areas as well. Thank you for working and getting the grant funding of the $15.5 million and figuring out how to use that wisely. I am appreciative of Mark Thomas and company, and so Mr. Somerville, great job, you and your team, for doing the public outreach and analyzing the feedback, developing strategies and options, reflecting what the community wanted, and also kind of balancing that with the fire authority requirements, the land topography, the slope issues, all of that stuff. So thank you so much for doing a great job getting feedback from the community. And I'm in favor of this. It's what the community wants. It's what our Traffic and Transportation Commission wants. So I'm in favor.
Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank staff. You guys did an exceptional job, and thank you to our consultant for all your hard work and to all the residents who gave us their opinion. I came in with a different opinion. I do not like roundabouts. I think people have a hard time driving in roundabouts. I think they're simple, but most of the people do not. So I didn't want the frustration, but you all have kind of changed my mind, and I will vote in favor of it. I've had a lot of people approach me and say, please, no roundabouts. But hearing what you all had to say, what my colleagues have to say, my opinion has changed. I'm a little hesitant, but I know how people drive around here, and so people run red lights. So I'm just a little concerned for safety with roundabouts, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much. I appreciate all you do.
All right. Well, Seems like we're all in agreement on this, so this should be an easy one. I just want to point out one more thing to everybody listening. This has been a project that has been a long time in the making. We're spending approximately just under $20 million in remediating La Paz Road. About $15.5 million come from a state grant. About another $4 million are coming from our city budget and our reserves, because we do a really good job of budgeting in a fiscally conservative way and saving funds for situations like this. And so with that, let me change my screen here. Looks like we have a motion that was made by Councilmember Winstead, seconded by Councilmember Otto. Council members, please vote to adopt the staff recommendation. Carries unanimously, 5-0. Thank you very much, and we can finally get that road under control. And Councilmember Jennings, I promise you won't be driving in circles. You'll you'll get the hang of it. It's pretty easy. Okay. All right, very good. So that concludes our discussion item for this evening. We will now move on to City Council, City Manager, and Department reports. Let's begin with Councilmember Jennings.
No comments tonight.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Winstead.
Okay, so I just wanted to share that I attended the Capo USD Central Kitchen National Lunch Week Kickoff Taste Test. Did that last week. So thank you to Gila Jones, Capo USD trustee, and Kristen Hilleman, the director too of Capo USD Food and Nutrition Services. Highlights of my visit included the intentional procurement of food. Every product is served is selected with care, balancing nutrition, student preference, ingredient quality, and operational efficiency. Their evolution towards scratch preparation whenever possible. While current kitchen infrastructure limits the extent to cook everything from scratch, they are intentionally moving in that direction, and I saw firsthand how their team maximizes what's possible within the constraints of their current facilities, and they're doing a great job, and the freezers are enormous, but they have a great setup there and a great staff. I also appreciate their farm to school vision, which is intentionally sourcing local, organic, and California-grown ingredients whenever possible, keeping the dollars in our community, supporting local families, and sustainable agriculture. Fun thing was the magenta dragon fruit sorbet. Apparently, Capo USD got a deal. There was a lot of magenta dragon fruit from a local grower, so they got that and turned it into sorbets for the students. So we got to sample that. That was creative. They also handmade their pickles. So they brined them. And so it was really interesting seeing how many things they made from scratch actually at the Capo USD kitchen. Their ultimate goal is to ensure that all students have access to nutritious meals that support their learning and well-being. So that being said, if you're hesitant to send your kiddo to school and you just don't have time to pack a lunch, don't worry about it. Capo USD has the parents covered. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilmember Otto.
Thank you. Last night I attended the South Orange County Community College District meeting where the board rescinded the decision that was the community benefits agreement that would, with regard to the battery energy storage system. It was a unanimous vote, 7-0. So that was a great thing for our community. I have a veterans theme tonight, seeing as we have Veterans Day coming up. First of all, I'll tell you that new update from the toll roads. If you are a disabled veteran and you ride the toll roads, if you register and you follow some of the rules in this program, you do not have to pay tolls. The update to this that we just did, that the board just did recently, was that used to be you had to have the plates, but now you do not have to have the plates. Some veterans don't want to display that they're disabled, understandably, and so now if you're a registered disabled veteran and you don't have the plate, you still get free tolls on the toll road. So that's exciting, and there's flyers at the front of the room for that. And secondly, as Councilmember Winstead and I are both council liaisons to the Military Support Committee, we are kicking off our holiday toy drive. So on Saturday and Sunday, November 8th and 9th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can go to Walmart and you can either bring a toy, unwrapped, brand new toy, or you can go into Walmart and buy a toy and drop it off, and we will deliver it to one of our adopted military units. You can also bring the toy to the city's upcoming Veterans Day ceremony, which is November 11th at Sea Country Festival. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johns.
Thank you. I assume you'll talk about the 250th anniversary of the San Juan. So I'll just say that all of us attended that. It was an amazing time. The only thing I'll say is that it was amazing to see how they made family first and community right there with them as well. So that was great to see that. So I had a great time there with everybody here. Also on October 12th attended the San Clemente FAM Hunger Walk. It was a great time. We had Lori Davies and Mike Levin were there. I help with FAM every Thursday, deliver food to those that are in need right here in our Presbyterian church, right here not far from City Hall. And if you're interested, please take a look at their site. You can volunteer to help there or other places, or just donate some money to help them out if you're inclined. The rest of this is going to be basically drugs. Obviously, I had 25 years on loan to the DEA as an LA County Sheriff, so a lot of my career and my life surrounds narcotics enforcement. October 25th will be Drug Take-Back Day, this Saturday. You can drop off your unwanted drugs or prescriptions anonymously from 10 to 2 p.m. right here at City Hall. Let's see. What did I do with the other one? October 23rd through 31st is Red Ribbon Week, honoring Kiki Camarena. In 1985, he was kidnapped, tortured, and killed by the Mexican drug cartels, a Mexican drug cartel out of Tijuana. We have Red Ribbon Week to remind us of that. It's also a week that all of us should use to look at and use that as a point to be healthier, drug-free life, have a healthier, drug-free lifestyle, and build a safer, stronger America for generations to come. The theme of this year is Life is a Puzzle, Solve It Drug-Free. So again, take that into consideration. Most kids will get the red ribbon at school, and they're taught about that, but understand that a DEA agent gave his life doing his job of keeping drugs off of our street. So remember Kiki Camarena. One of his sons grew up to be a judge, and he's down in San Diego right now, and he's still fighting the fight for his father. So please join us with that. One last thing. Today I was picking up some family at the airport in Los Angeles. I stopped for gas on my way home. I won't say what city it was, but I got off the freeway at Beach Boulevard and went to one of the gas stations there. And as I was paying for the gas, I had to go inside to do it. And right there on the shelves, right with the candy and the gum, was a display of Kratom. So I just want to say that I educated the store owner about Kratom, how dangerous it is. It was done in a way that it looked like it was candy. And we just did an ordinance against Kratom because it's very dangerous. It has the properties, if you use it in small amounts, to be like methamphetamine. If you use it in large amounts, you get the feeling of an opiate. It's very dangerous. People are overdosing on this. And this was sitting right there on the counter. It was pineapple flavored and sitting between candy and gum. So we've outlawed it. I'm so glad that we brought that up and we all passed that. So again, thank you. And that's it. I told you it was gonna be a drug night. So have a good night. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to refrain from any commentary on, too easy to make a joke there, but I won't. I'm just going to stick to three things I'd like to talk about. I had a full circle moment last Friday. I had the great honor of being the principal for a day at my alma mater, Aliso Niguel High School. And I had just a great time showing up to school early in the morning, greeting all the students and the parents. Dr. Manoj Mahindrakar, who is the principal there, who I've known for over 20 years since when we were serving on student government at Aliso Niguel. He showed me around, showed me the ropes of what it's like to be a principal, but it was a lot of fun going into the classrooms, especially the government classes, and talking about public service and local government. And so I had a great time doing that. A real highlight from that opportunity was when I walked into the classroom of my sophomore English teacher, Dave Weinstein. And he looked at me and he says, "Ray, I have something for you." And he reached into his closet and pulled out a VHS tape of a class project I submitted in 2002. He's kept it all these years and handed it back to me. It was really surreal to see, to get a VHS. So now I need to find a VCR. I don't know where I'm going to find one of those, maybe at the Smithsonian Institution. But that was really cool. Great day all around. And as part of that opportunity to serve as principal for a day, they gave me a lapel pin for the Capo Unified School District. So I'm wearing that lapel pin tonight just to show my love and appreciation for all the teachers and administrators and parent volunteers and students in what I think is the best school district we have in the country. I mean, we have a really great school district here in Capo Unified, and we should never take that for granted. So that was a really fun thing I got to do last week. Tomorrow, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting the Women Who Mean Business Awards, and I know a couple of individuals in this room who will be honored at the Women Who Mean Business Awards. I might even be providing the introduction for one of those award winners, Stephanie Winstead, and so that will be at the Waldorf Astoria. The Chamber is really doing it up, having great events at new locations. And so anybody who hasn't checked out the Chamber before, I invite you to come to the Chamber of Commerce in Laguna Niguel. It's a real thriving group with great events. And this Thursday, the Chamber of Commerce is having a mixer at one of our very new restaurants here in Laguna Niguel, Tierra de Fuego. I've had the opportunity to eat at Tierra de Fuego. It is wonderful. It is Argentinian food. You can get a picana steak with chimichurri, some empanadas. I highly recommend the mushroom and cheese empanada. It's absolutely tasty, and you'll really like it. It's over in the promenade on Aliso Creek and La Paz. So check that restaurant out, and if you can, make it to the Chamber Mixer on Thursday. And then finally, I want to talk about a cool thing that all of us got to participate in this past Saturday in San Juan Capistrano. As many of you know, San Juan Capistrano was founded in 1776, the same year that our nation was founded. So here locally and nationally, we will be celebrating 250 years of San Juan Capistrano and the United States of America. And the community in San Juan Capistrano includes the Ahachiman Nation, the Juanino Band of Mission Indians, which are native to this area in California, so much so that Laguna Niguel was the land of the Nigueli people. And we are the only city in Orange County that has adopted the name of our Native American heritage into the name of our city, Laguna Niguel. We also have on our city seal a representation, a figure of an Ahachiman villager. And so that just shows you how much we appreciate our roots going all the way back more than 250 years and beyond. And we're so proud of our history and our heritage that we cherish it even today. But all of us got to participate in the opening ceremony of the 250th anniversary down in San Juan Capistrano with the leaders of the mission, the Juanino Band of Mission Indians. Lots of song and dance and activities, and so it was a lot of fun for all of us. Lots of elected officials there recognizing the moment, including all of us. And so thank you all for being there. It was a lot of fun. City Manager Letourneau.
No reports this evening.
Great. So that's it? We're done? Okay. No, I love your reports. Just didn't be, I wasn't expecting to be done this quick. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned at 8:10 p.m. Thank you.